Welcome, everybody, to the JCA Sports Podcast. I'm Jose Contreras, a.k.a. Tony Football. Next to me is Johnny Blasphemy, EA the Sports Guy, Eric. What's
Hi.
going on, guys? How you doing today?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all
What up,
feeling?
boys?
New year, new us?
New
Yeah, I
Year,
guess.
us. The JCA Sports Podcast is back. 2024 is our year, and as you can see, you know what it is. You know what we're talking about today. We all got it on. Bears, baby. The Chicago Bears. All Bears podcast today. We're talking about Justin Fields. We're talking about Matt Eberflus. We're talking about the entire team and what the Bears should do 2024. And let's start with it, guys. With the win yesterday at Soldier Field, Justin Fields showed everybody why he needs to remain the Chicago quarterback. They even had the fans going, "We want Justin." But is that what everybody here wants? And let's ask every single one of us, Johnny Blasphemy, what do you want? Do you want Justin Fields as your quarterback?
Man, 100%, bro. I think he showed yesterday why you can't give up on him, why you should invest in him. I mean, it's going to be another headache if we replace him because we still have to worry about coaching, which I know we'll cover later, but the fans are shouting, "We want Fields." I've been saying I want Fields all year long, all season long. It's just we need to keep him, man. He's our franchise quarterback. You need to build around him. He's the guy, bro. He showed it, and he's been performing really well since coming back off an injury, man. It's be really hard to argue that there's a better quarterback than him right now. Like
I
you
mean,
finally got him doing good. Don't fuck it up. Keep what works working, man. Just improve it. That's all you got to do. Let my man cook.
let Justin Fields cook 100%. John says he wants Justin Fields. He needs Justin Fields as our starting quarterback. But let's talk to our boy EA, the sports guy. Eric, what do you think, man? Should the Bears keep Justin Fields and why?
Man, it's tough to say, man. I mean, financially, it makes sense. Why not to keep him, right? Financially, it makes sense on why you should go trade or not trade, but draft either Caleb Williams, Drake May, or all the other quarterbacks that are coming out. It makes sense that in that standpoint that you have to pay the players already there that are already going to be up for sale or our contract is going to be up, should I say? The Jalen Johnsons, the Briskers, the Gordons in years to follow. You know, you just signed Sweat. You know, you may need to sign DJ Moore once again too as well. I mean, financially, there's a reason why trading Justin Fields for more picks and drafting Caleb Williams or any of these top prospect quarterbacks that are coming out of the draft this year, it makes sense. Starting over this clock, this quarterback clock, where you could improve somewhere else, right? And that's where I'm at. I don't know how I feel about Justin. Do I want to keep him? For sure. I think he's proven. I think he's the most proven quarterback, obviously, out of all the ones that are coming out. But at the same time, it's kind of like, is there more? Can there be more out there that's better than Justin Fields? And that's yet to remain to see. I mean, you kept Eberflus, so the way how I stand is like, if you're keeping Eberflus, then you got to keep Justin. And I just want what's right for the Chicago Bears. And if it's keeping Justin Fields, then I'm ride or die with Justin Fields. If it's trading him away and drafting another quarterback, unfortunately, I have to ride and die with the new quarterback that we're going to get in this upcoming draft.
Yeah, no, I agree 100% with you, Eric and John. I also think Justin Fields is the guy. Now, I wasn't always that wasn't always the case for me. It really wasn't. I wasn't a Justin Fields guy going forward. I mean, or in the past. I mean, but he has really been proving it to me. He's really been showing that he does deserve to be on that field. He just needs a little bit of coaching. He needs a better team around him, and we've been seeing it these past couple weeks. Since he came back from injury is when you start to see a different Justin Fields.
Mm-hmm.
But man, if this is the guy that we can get every single week in and week out next season, and then you add pieces to it, maybe even a different coaching staff, then why not? Why not? But
But
what?
see,
My question is, why did it take so long? Why all of a sudden did we start? Now that we started seeing this version of Justin this late in the season, we've seen glimpses of it, of course, but then we've seen games where it's like, what the hell is this guy doing? He can't process this. He can't process that. Why do you think that is, John? Why do you think that is?
I feel like it has to do with the coaching, bro. I mean, a good part of the season, it kind of felt like the headaches we went through with Matt Nagy is like, all right, who's calling the plays, who's and then every week it's like we had drama of coaches being fired for stuff off the field, and then like you hit it on the head. Fields isn't better since coming back of injury. He's 4-2. The Bears are what is it on a 5-game win streak at home, and then Justin Fields, man, he had some beautiful throws yesterday. Like we could have easily won by another 10 points yesterday. Yesterday's a beautiful performance by Fields. I think he's been getting confidence. I think you see the chemistry with the team going on. I think you do gotta give credit to Eberflus, but you touched it earlier. Is he might be going. We may need to look for a new coach because the way I look at it is I see Eberflus. Eberflus isn't tied to Fields, but Fields is tied to Eberflus. Meaning you can get rid of Eberflus and keep Fields, but if you get rid of Fields, you got to get rid of Eberflus.
And that's the thing. That's the thing, John. Like what Jose alluded to earlier, talk about along the lines of switching the coaching staff or whatnot. Honestly, that's why Justin Fields hasn't improved. This is going to be, if you do so, this is going to be Justin Fields' third coaching change in his last 4 years. Nagy with Eberflus and whatever coaching staff or offensive coordinator that's coming in, which is hindering his progression here in the NFL. And that's what I really don't want. So if you keep Matt Eberflus, you quintessentially have to keep Luke Getsy too as well, because then how is Justin Fields going to progress? How is Justin Fields going to take it to the next level if you're going to switch out offensive coordinators or head coach every other year or so? That's why Jay Cutler wasn't successful, but Jay Cutler is a whole different story than Justin Fields, right? Nobody really liked Jay like that, and everybody loves Justin Fields. But again, it goes back to the situation. You're switching a young man who's in his third, fourth year in the NFL. You're switching up the coaching staff again. He's not progressing because he's not learning the same playbook that a quarterback should learn for years on out, whether if it works or not. And Justin Fields, again, Matt Nagy, Matt Eberflus, or whatever, whoever was, I was Bill Lazor, Luke Getsy, and if you let go of Luke Getsy, he's going to be a whole nother offensive coordinator. Unless even if you find a coach, offensive coordinator that fits the playing style of Justin Fields still has to learn another playbook that may or may not help his skill set. So if you're keeping everybody, if you're keeping Eberflus, whether people want to hear it or not, you definitely have to keep Luke Getsy because it's still the same offense that Justin Fields has been learning for the past 2 seasons.
For the record, Jose, before you go, I love Jay Cutler, okay? Jay Cutler's my buddy. That's my boy. I love Jay Cuddy, all right? Love me some Jay Cuddy. Gunslinging Jay, smoking Jay, whatever you want to call him, that's my boy.
All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty, guys. We all want Justin Fields to come back, but he isn't the only option for us. All right, the Bears secured the number 1 pick yesterday with Carolina losing to Jacksonville. All the credit in the world to Ryan Poles, back-to-back number 1 picks. Last year wasn't really because of him; it was because the Bears were really bad. But I guess you really can't say because he got rid of a lot of people. But this year definitely goes. All the credit goes to him because he because of that trade. I mean, dude, not only did we win that trade, we finessed
we finessed the shit out of the Panthers.
Hell out of Carolina.
Man, Panthers got fleeced, boy.
Man, like their owner was over there spilling drinks. Those fans were talking mad shit too.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Hey, these guys have the number 1 pick. Oh wait, that's right. You don't. The Bears do. The Bears have the number 1 pick, and with that being said, they have the responsibility and the trajectory to really turn the draft around, turn everybody's drafts around.
Yeah.
But what do they do with that number 1 pick? Right? There's talk of Caleb Williams being a franchise, a generational type quarterback, playing out of USC. The Bears have first dibs on him if they want it, but by doing so, then that pretty much solidifies it here for Justin Fields in Chicago. That it's over.
Let the record show. Sorry, Jose. Let the record show Caleb Williams was Jose's boy all of October and November. It wasn't until December that he hopped on the Fields train.
He really did. You ain't lying.
And I'll take it. I'll take it because again, all I want is quality on the field, guys. That's it. As a Bears fan, it's all I want is quality on the field. I don't care if it's Justin Fields. I don't care if it's Mitch Trubisky. I don't care if it's Jay Cutler. I don't care if it's Caleb Williams. I don't care if it's Montel Williams. I don't care if it's Eric, the EA, the sports guy, Johnny Blasphemy. If you can go out there and throw the fucking football and win games and be a generational type quarterback, that's all I ask for. If Justin Fields can turn it around and do the damn thing, then do the damn thing. I'm cool with it. If Caleb Williams can come out from the draft and win, I'm cool with it. That's all I want.
But the
My
thing is,
entire life,
I
we
think,
haven't had a quarterback.
but I do believe, like, if it wasn't for the Heisman that he won the year before, is he really a generational talent? Because he's under a bigger microscope this year because he won the Heisman last year, and him going back obviously because he had to, not because he wanted to, but he had to stay there because he had to play 2 years of college, at least the bare minimum, or something along those lines. The college rules are a little finicky, but because he won the Heisman last year and this year, is that the reason why he has the tag generational? Because I see no difference from USC or from Caleb Williams that I've seen. Like, he's not Andrew Luck. All right, let's get that out of the way. That's generational. Obviously Patrick Mahomes, that's generational, but we really didn't really see him a lot in college, right? We saw Baker Mayfield successful over Patrick Mahomes. How we even saw Deshaun Watson winning a national championship with Alabama. But generational is like Andrew Luck. Generational is Peyton Manning. Like those top tier quarterbacks. Cam Newton to me is generational because he did do what he did in Auburn, winning a national championship, going to NFL, Rookie of the Year, MVP, all that. That's generational. But is it only because generational is because he won the Heisman last year, not because of the productivity that he's had this year and all the struggles that he had? Is that the reason why he has the tag generational, because he won the Heisman?
I think so, man. I mean, I completely, agree with what you're saying. I think the hype is overrated because, here we are Monday, January 1st. Is he
Happy New
playing?
Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year, bro. Where's he at today? You know?
Exactly.
Where's he at today? I mean, and you would think the hype that this dude is have, I would even expect him to be like, I would compare it to the Trevor Lawrence hype a couple years ago. And
yeah,
so side by side, I don't see that. I don't see no generational talent. And then to address, the Bears specifically, I don't see him better than Justin Fields that we saw yesterday.
bro. They were comparing him to Justin Fields. Like he's a better, smaller, like a better arm, smaller version of Justin Fields.
Right. I mean, when it comes to, what does to a college quarterback that's supposedly a first round pick, generational talent, you would expect him to be playing in the championship game.
Right.
As far as college standards, he had a very disappointing season this year. And now we're talking about drafting him one overall.
Look, but you're doing that based off who? Deshaun Watson? Andrew Luck didn't play in the national game before he got.
I mean, I'm doing that.
He played
for Stanford based on number one overall.
He played for Stanford, and they didn't even make the college playoff. So it's like, and Andrew Luck was number one overall, and everybody knew he was the clear-cut best quarterback, and he would have been a generational type quarterback had he not retired earlier and not got injured.
He was a generational quarterback.
Yeah,
you can't say he was.
Well, absolutely
you
right.
Can't say that.
I mean, yeah, but he was that guy. Everyone knew it coming out based off his play, but his team wasn't successful in college, so you can't always go just like you're giving the excuses for Justin Fields about not having a team around him. You got to do the same thing for Caleb Williams. If he doesn't have the right coaching staff or the right team around him in college, then he's not. It's not a one person game, guys. It's a team effort. It's a team game. They're calling him generational based off his performance. What's the one accolade in college that is for solo for just one performance? It's the Heisman, and he did his thing to win it based off his individual performances. That's why people are giving him the hype that he deserves. At the same time, that's not going to translate into him being a great quarterback. That's 100%. You have to go on the field and play. The only reason why I'm picking Justin over Caleb now is because Justin has progressed where on an NFL field that has yet to be seen by Caleb Williams.
Right, and I honestly, I do believe, like, I know the time is ticking on Justin Fields and his time to get paid, right? That you got to pay. The thing is, like, a lot of people on their mind are stuck in you have to pay Justin Fields $40 to $50 to $60 million to keep him on the field. And I honestly do believe, like, in deep down in my heart and in my soul, I do believe Justin Fields may not even be looking for that. Right. I honestly, and I get it. That's what the market says, and that's what the market transfers, and so on and so forth, and the NBA, NFL, blah, 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 so on, but whatever. But the thing is, like, yes, you're here to get paid. Yes, you're doing the job for it, but you don't really have to necessarily overpay a guy for the position, overpay a guy just based off his position, right? And I think a lot of NFL owners and GMs struggle with that simply because, like, oh, you have to. When in reality, you don't have to. I mean, look at the Giants, how much they paid Daniel Dimes, and look how they were this year, right? And I think Justin Fields, if you're a smart man, even if the Bears came up with a smart approach, talk about, hey, look, we're going to give you the Tom Brady contract. You making 15, 16, 17 million dollars a year, but no other player that we bring in is going to pay higher than you. You're going to be the highest paid player on the Chicago Bears. We're just going to make sure that the person that we get, whether you want the person or we want the person, is not going to get that much higher than you. And that's what's bringing the winning organization. But in order for that to work, the Bears have to start winning, right? And obviously, that's the main thing. The Bears literally are about to, quote unquote, triple their wins from last year to this year,
Yep.
and that's their and that's their motive. Like, they're trending into the right direction. That's why Matt Eberflus is coming back. But you don't really have to pay Justin Fields right away. You pick up the 5th-year option. You give him you may franchise tag him the year after that, where you probably have to pay him guaranteed $30-40 million a year, which is all right. That's cool. But then the contract doesn't have to be that lucrative in order for Justin to say. I think Justin is a smart man, and I feel like he will take that discount for him to be successful here in Chicago.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's another way of looking at it too. Is financially though, what can you do? I mean, Eric laid it out for you right there. But that's the one thing about Caleb Williams that does maybe intrigue someone like Ryan Poles. It's like, hey, he gives me flexibility. If he
He
can
does.
work out, and be a great quarterback, he at least gives you flexibility to work on continue to work on the team around the quarterback position because he's coming in on a rookie deal. Um, I mean, what do you think, John? Do you think that's smart, or do you think that's, hey, just obviously you want Justin Fields. That's obvious. You
Yeah,
already said it, right? But would you be mad at Poles if he went that route? Would you really be mad at Poles if he's like, you know what, hey, look,
you
I
know
think
what?
Caleb Williams can be the guy. We can show you he can be the guy, and we can do so much around him you know, if and only if we're able to construct the team.
The only way I would be okay with it is if you clean house at the coaching. Eric touched on it earlier. You got to keep
Good
Eberflus
place.
and Lou Getsy, which is very true because we've experienced it here. With the Bears, quarterbacks having to adjust to a new system every single year. That's one of the main reasons that all these like high profile quarterbacks from college don't have success in the NFL. I mean, look at the Panthers, how bad they were. They're probably going to look for a new offensive coordinator next year, and then they just keep doing it, changing offensive coordinators. I mean, it's like, in every other sport, it's like you have a new pitching coach every year, a new hitting coach every year. It's like, think about an NBA player. You got somebody trying to tweak your shot every single year, whatever. However you condition, you practice, it's not going to work. So if you get rid of Fields and go the Caleb Williams route, then you got to clean house with the coaches too, and you got to commit for whatever his 4 or 5 years here with that same coaching staff, because switching it up, it has not worked here in Chicago.
No, it really hasn't worked here in Chicago. But I love that you brought up the coaching staff because that's the next question. What do we do with Matt Eberflus? I mean, A, he doesn't have a defensive coordinator. B, we're not really all sold on Luke Getsy. Does he stay? What happens to the coaching staff? Should Ryan Poles relieve the coaching staff, relieve Matt Eberflus, and grab somebody else, or should he give him one more chance? I mean, everybody's saying that Matt Eberflus might have saved his job with the way the team is playing, especially on the defensive end. In the last couple games. But if you do that, you have holes to fill. You don't know if you're going to keep Getsy. Do we keep Getsy? And you need a new defensive coordinator. Eric, we'll start with you. What should the Bears do with with uh, with the coach staff?
I mean, nobody's really going to like this answer I'm about to say, but you stay pat. You keep Lugetzey. Obviously, the defensive coordinator, you got to do what you got to do, right? You got to, either A, promote within, or B, you know, um, find somebody that plays your style of defense or plays your 4-3 defense that you have, right? You got to find somebody like that that you're comfortable with, right? I mean, and I know nobody's gonna like this answer, but yeah, you got to stay pat, man. You got to keep Luke Getsy. You have to keep. If you're keeping Eberflus, you're keeping Getsy. I mean, it's simple as that. Like I mentioned earlier, you're not gonna switch another offensive coordinator for Justin Fields to learn another offense that might hinder his progression again. And yes, it hasn't been sweet. It hasn't been great. It hasn't been the most what you guys wanted to see, right? But if we break it down, if we take out the first month, the Bears literally have a winning record, from what October all the way now to December, now into January, and it's like there's progression, but the only thing is that there's always question marks, and there's going to be question marks on why the offense sputters after the second half. But to answer your question, you keep Getsy, bro. Like that's how you have to do it. If you want this to work, you have to keep it together, some way, somehow. And this is going to be the downfall not only of Matt Eberflus but Ryan Post too, since they want to keep him.
What do you think, John? We'll give you the stage, John. Do we keep the coaching staff? Do we get rid of him? And what do you think we should do?
You know, man, I jokingly started the show saying "New Year, New Us," but it really is a new us when you got me and Eric like right here, man. So we're probably getting a blizzard this week or something because me and my boy, we don't always have the same agreement when it comes to sports. But I definitely agree, man. Eberflus has earned his job. I mean, he's improved the Bears a lot. He did save his job, and then we just talked about it. We can't keep switching offensive coordinators. Have Justin Fields learning a new playbook. You got to commit. Go and get some more weapons. Build around Justin Fields. Keep the same coaching staff at least for one more year. Hell, 2 more years if you do go the franchise tag route for Justin Fields year 6. I think the only way, and you do have to pick up the phone and make the call. The only way you replace Eberflus is by seeing if Jim Harbaugh wants to come, because if he does, it's gonna be like one of those situations that your Cubbies did, where hey, Rick, thank you for your job, thank you for improving this team, but Joe Madden wants to come here and we can't pass him up. That's the only route that I see where the Bears, replace Eberflus and Luke Getsy, is if Harbaugh wants to come, and hey, you give Harbaugh the keys to the kingdom.
I
You
agree.
ask him, hey, you want to keep Fields next year? Cool. You like him with franchise tag? Cool. You don't? All right, man. We'll draft whoever you want.
I agree. I agree 100%. I think if somebody's available, like John said, like for the Cubs did with Joe Madden, you do it. You jump for it. If Michigan wins a national title and Harbaugh's like, you know what, I'm gonna walk off into the sunset and go back to the NFL.
You know
It's
he
not,
is. He just hired a new agent. You know
yeah,
he is.
I,
Michigan wins today. It's whatever, but it's cool. It'll work out because then you know
yeah,
what? Then that way we get Harbaugh. We can trade the number 1 pick. See who gives us the best deal between who's number 2s right now, the Commanders, and then Patriots number 3. Because listen, we'll give Fields to Harbaugh. Let Harbaugh work with Fields. Go get a wide receiver, finesse another team, get a first round next year, and let Harbaugh and Poles cook, man. And you gotta give Fields a better team, dude. And if it starts with a better coach, I'm cool with it. We'll go ahead and trade that number 1 pick.
I agree.
Finesse again.
I agree with John Harbaugh. I agree with the coaching change if
Jim Harbaugh.
only if somebody is available. I do agree with that. However, guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. Okay, it has impressed me a little bit with how the defense has been playing, and the last thing I want is for us to have a new coach and that defense dips a little bit. That defense has been doing a lot. That defense has been keeping us in games, but at the same time, how can you say no to John Harbaugh? Remember, he was a coach of the 49ers, and he had that defense.
Jim, not John.
Jim, sorry, Jim
Jimmy
Harbaugh,
boy.
and he had that defense on point as well. So
I mean, it's like when Vic Fangio had his defense on
yeah,
point. I mean, it's very unfortunate because like yes, he deserved to go, become a head coach, but that didn't work out. And it's like, you can't really ask Eberflus like, hey man, you want to stay as defensive coordinator and we hire Jim? It's not, it's a business. It's not going to work. But
yeah,
like I'm saying, it being a business, is Jim better as a head coach than Eberflus? You know what I'm saying? You can't pass him up.
absolutely.
You can't pass him up.
And I'm glad, John. It's the second time. I'm glad you segued into the next topic,
Well,
which is
we
the number
here,
one
new year,
pick.
new us, baby.
We have the right. We have the number 1 pick. So then, what do we do with it? If we're keeping Fields, if we're not giving away the coaches, what are we doing with it?
Hey, you call up the Commanders, you call up the Patriots, and be like, make me the best offer. Because the only person we should be taking is wide receiver. What's his name?
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Marvin Harrison Jr. And you know what? You already know the Commanders and the Patriots need a QB. So you get the best deal you can and then finesse to get a first year next year. I'm
Well,
down
hell,
with that.
even fall back one spot. I think who has the number 2? The Patriots,
Commanders,
the
Commanders,
Commanders.
and Patriots are 3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I think you fall back to like 2 or 3. I mean, the Cardinals. Thank God, yesterday they won.
They're 4.
Then they took themselves out of even getting a Marvin Harrison Jr. Right? It looks like Neighbors looks like is going to be going to Arizona now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, hey, this year's first round, next year's first round, the years after's first round, maybe throw in a third round here or there. The Bears trade another pick along with the first round pick this year for you to get multiple picks for the next following years. And I think that's what's more enticing for the Chicago Bears too, as an organization. Now, you said, Jim Harbaugh coming over here for the Chicago Bears, and I honestly believe if Jim does come, I think the full autonomy of Ryan Poles of actually building the team is probably going to be over because Jim wants to have full control of the team and have full control of the organization. That's right to me. It's like Jim Harbaugh does sound very enticing, does sound pretty intriguing, does sound this and that, but also at the same time, like what Ryan Poles build or is building, I think it's going to stop right there. It's going to stop at the buck right there with Jim Harbaugh because he wants full autonomy. And yes, he may keep Justin Fields. That's for sure. That's for damn sure. I mean, he inherited Alex Smith when he was with the 49ers, and he did whatever he could with Alex Smith with the 49ers. But again, he also drafted Colin Kaepernick too in between his first year there. And look what he did with Colin Kaepernick afterwards, right? I do believe like if he does come, we're not going to get Caleb Williams unless if Jim says that we have to get him. I scouted this guy. He knows. Who knows better than Jim Harbaugh, who's been in college for the last 5, 6, 7 years? He scouts, he recruits, but he scouts these players. He sees these players. He knows what he's doing. Nobody knows better about these college players that are coming out of this draft than Jim Harbaugh himself. So whether if he does get Caleb Williams, whether if we do get Marvin Harrison, he's like, yeah, we got to get Marvin Harrison and this and that. But I'm getting my boy, who was my quarterback for the last 2 years in the second round, no ands, ifs, and buts about it. You find a way to get so. And I think that's what's going to happen as well if he does come. I was on that train of Jim Harbaugh coming back, or coming here to coach the Chicago Bears. I'm slowly getting off of that one simply because I think it's going to take too much. There's going to be too much hostility, right? Remember, Kevin Warren was the president of the Big Ten when Jim Harbaugh is the coach, and they didn't have that much of a good relationship anyways, right? Especially that COVID year where people wanted to play, people didn't want to play, so on and so forth. You guys got to remember that there's also a Big Ten connection there. And Kevin Warren, he may be a bigger man and put all that to the side, and he really wants to win. And if he actually does declare, that might be a Kevin Warren move before it's a Ryan Poles move. So it's an interesting aspect of where the position of the Chicago Bears, simply because now they got the number 1 pick, and in the position that they put themselves to. That pick is going to get traded. I wholeheartedly believe that pick is going to get traded. I wholeheartedly believe that it might be traded to the Patriots or whoever wants to get Caleb Williams. It's going to be traded away. We are going to have multiple first round picks for the next 2-3 years here in Chicago. Hell, even 4 if we do it smartly, depending on the situation. We're going to have multiple picks. We're going to build this team up from scratch for so many years, which I bring back to financial issues too as well, where maybe it's not a bad idea of getting it. Actually, no, I can't, because it only works if you trade the first round pick for years to come. That's the only way this works. It's just a wait and see. And maybe Justin Fields doesn't turn out, and then in 2 years we get Arch Manning. Who knows? That might work too. That's a possibility too.
You get a Manning brother. I'll take a Manning brother all day long. But yeah, I agree. You trade the number 1 pick, you get a haul for it. That way you're back in the position next year, and you still pick up good players this year. Like I said, Marvin Harrison Jr., I think we all want him. Pair him up with DJ Moore, and that offense is dangerous, scary, and dangerous. All right, guys. Last but not least, the Bears play the Packers. Last game of the season. Looking back at the season, how do you feel about the Packers? Their quarterback Jordan Love, that situation, and how do you see this game going this year, this week? Sorry.
What do you mean? How do we feel about the Packers? It's still fuck the Packers every day, all year long, every year. Well, you know what? The way the Packers beat us at the beginning of the year, we absolutely have to win this game, bro. There's no exceptions about it. I don't care if we're not in playoff contention no more. The Packers are still in playoff contention. I know they need a couple other teams to lose, but the Bears could definitely just shut the door on any hope they have. And Fields got to cook again. This team got to show up. Eberflus's defense that he's improved all year long, y'all need to make a big statement against the Packers right here because the joke's always been Aaron Rodgers owned this team. You cannot have the joke continue with Jordan Love owning this team, bro. Fuck that, bro. We have to beat them.
I agree with you.
No exception.
I agree. I agree.
Go on, Eric. What do you think, man?
I'm
Is it
this.
Packers all day, every day?
Man, like this is another statement of the Bears. Honestly, me personally, I wish this game was the deciding factor of Matt Eberflus's future. To be honest with you, I think that if he would have came out, maybe swung a few punches, and maybe lose to the Packers by like 2 or 3 points instead of how they lost the first game here at Soldier Field. And if the defense kept playing like the way that they were playing the last couple weeks, last couple months, then sure, I Matt Eberflus kept his job because at least the productivity is there from the players, right? It was up to Luke Getsy and Justin Fields and their future if they deserved him being here in the first place with this game. Now that everybody looks like they're going to be kept, I think this is more of a pride thing now and an opportunity for the Chicago Bears to knock out the Green Bay Packers out of playoff contention. They need a win. The Chicago Bears, they can't afford to come out sluggish. They need to find a game plan where in all 4 quarters the Bears find a way to get into the end zone once or twice at least once or twice in every quarter. I think that's what the Bears need to be at, man. This has to be a Bears victory. It can't be another loss. It really can't.
Yeah, guys. It's fuck the Packers all day, every day, and twice on Sunday, baby. The Bears are going to beat the Packers. We're going to kill the Packers. We're going to show them that we are taking the North back, like Ryan Post said on his press conference. We're not taking it back this season, though, because it belongs to the Lions. But we are in the cusp of a maybe 10-year run with Justin Fields, and he's going to prove it when he throws for over 300 yards against Green Bay's defense. I truly believe that. I think that's going to happen. You guys are looking crazy. It's okay. We have our Bears hat on.
I mean, if you really want to do that hot take stuff, I mean, sure, go right ahead and.
I
say
mean,
what
I'm
you
not
just
against
said.
it, Jose.
Me neither, but
it's a joke. It's a joke. Sorry, the sarcasm is real.
No, bro, he could have had 300 yards yesterday, and I mean, we had a couple. He broke out for a couple runs. He could have been close to a little 300 passing, 100 rushing stat line.
This Packers defense is a lot tougher than Atlanta's. But
hey, of course.
Obviously it's fuck the Packers, but man, huge shout out to Jordan Love because the man's been playing his ass off.
Let me ask you this: Is this going to be more of a Fields versus Love game, or is it between is it head coach versus head coach right here?
No, I think
Matt versus Matt LaFleur?
No, because Matt LaFleur doesn't have nothing to prove. I mean, he's been successful, with this Packers team already. No. It's Eberflus who has to prove something. It's still
then if the Bears,
Love versus Fields,
if the Bears win this game, is Love's job in danger next year?
No,
definitely not.
Because he had some games, bro.
I mean, he's decent, but is he the guy though? You got to look at it. Like, is he the guy?
And I know
get the Packers continue going to the playoffs.
I know where you're coming from too, John. I really do. And I think that's kind of discrediting him because it's his first year of actually being the number one guy. Aaron Rodgers' first year after Brett Favre left really wasn't all that great. Aaron Rodgers became Aaron Rodgers, years and years after, right? The unfortunate part about it, though, is like that's how we're looking at this. Like we're looking at the spectrum of that he's replacing Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers that won MVPs and won a Super Bowl and
Hall of Fame quarterback.
No, Hall of Fame quarterback and the trajectory of that.
Top 3 of our generation. Top 5.
Yeah, for sure.
And answer this question. With Love, right? With all because he's played his ass off. His stats look really good. Put him on this Bears team with DJ Moore, right? With a better receiver, with better guys around him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, guys.
I know what you're saying, Jose. It's very tempting because I think DJ Moore is the better receiver. If you combine our receiving cores.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it has to do with just the team they have over there with the Packers. You got to give credit to Matt LaFleur. A lot of times, there was a argument of is this Aaron Rodgers' team or is this Matt LaFleur's team? But I mean, Jordan Love benefits a lot from the system that they have over there, and also we've seen him learning from Aaron Rodgers for 3 years, playing behind him, or 2 years. I'm sorry, but I think to play devil's advocate, I think Fields will thrive if you put him in that system, the same way Jordan Love has been thriving this year.
I agree. I think that's the one
And
right
then
there.
I also think Love would be bad on this Bears team, just when how Fields has been up and down. You got to give credit to Matt LaFleur. They got a better team over there.
Yeah, I mean he's been riding the ship for the
Right.
last 5-6 years. So like he knows what even him on top of having a very Hall of Fame MVP quarterback in Aaron Rodgers when he just came in after after McCarthy's exit of Green Bay. You know, people question him about can he really handle Aaron Rodgers, and now after having those many years with Aaron Rodgers and doing what he's doing with Jordan Love, you know, Matt LaFleur, he's legit. He's a real deal. So I think Justin Fields will thrive under Matt LaFleur and the coaching in Green Bay than Jordan Love here in Chicago with this coaching staff.
Well, that's it, guys. That's the JCA Sports Podcast. We will be back next week alongside EA, the sports guy, and Johnny Blasphemy. I am Tony Football. We'll come back. We'll talk more Chicago sports and all around the NFL. Stay tuned because we just getting started. Just like 2024, baby. We back.
Yes, sir.